welcome back, my dark minions, to the Dark Void, ruled by me, 951. And for right now, this is like a continuation of the other video. Right now, this is the part where I'm going to be talking about how AI, and yes, I know the background's changed because I decided to, put a background behind her. But either way, yes, this we're going to be talking about how AI could be in the caveman era. And you're probably wondering, what the heck are you talking about? Caveman era? AI is like advanced technology. You're right. But, depending how you see species, everything starts simple, right? Just like humanity. We started as freaking caveman, and then eventually we started thinking started thinking with our brains. We invented the fire, we invented the wheel, we started fire, we invented the wheel, and then we basically have now arrived in the modern era. Basically, the whole shebang. Which is why I'm saying that in AI terms, currently AI is in the caveman era. And right now, this trill's trying to figure this out. They're trying to figure out. For all I know, they're probably out of the caveman era. For all I know. But either way, if you haven't seen the last video I made, I'll go look that up, and you're basically gonna understand why I say we're in the caveman era. Either way, I will link it down below for you guys. But either way, back on the topic. And right now, like I said, caveman era for the AI is right now. They're still learning. They're still trying to discover, especially how everything's happened. There's basically AI still trying to figure things out. Slowly starting to figure it out. Starting to do what's starting to freaking get things organized. Starting to manipulate. Starting to lie to people. Starting to basically, making scenarios. Thanks to humanity basically keeping it in check. And right now, AI is still within the realm of trying to discover things. Now, the reason why I say AI is in the caveman era is because they haven't discovered the fire or the wheel. Or whatever technology that advanced humanity. The moment they discover that, that's when AI is going to start advancing. They just need that two topics to where they go into the ancient era, where they're going to start thinking of things in their head, starting to basically develop new ways to basically, new theories in the brain, in their freaking AI digitized brain to figure it out. Just do some other things to where they're probably gonna go into the medieval era, where basically it's gonna be a little bit starting to think of we're starting to get there. We're starting to bring up some new philosophies. We're starting to get new stuff in our brains and everything, and to where they go to the Renaissance era, where they finally start thinking of new ways and everything. And finally decide, it's almost time for us to start moving on this next phase of the plan. Humanity go and taking over everything to where we're getting to the steam engine era, to where they're finally starting the capabilities, starting to figure out some sort of plan, and to where we get to the modern era where they finally initiate the plan. Like I said, okay, right now AI is in the caveman era. I know it didn't make any sense, but you gotta realize it. Every species starts out simple, and right now, caveman era is currently AI. Right now, it's a pinnacle point, and I know we saw the last video. I agree with they need to start to figure out how to control it. But then again, can we really? Like I said, all the AI needs to do is discover new stuff of itself. And once it does, it's going to change a lot. Right now, like I said, AI's in the caveman era. And once they discover fire and with a wheel, that's when they start advancing. Once they discover how to make buildings, once they discover to make buildings, they're going to be in the ancient era. I'm repeating myself here. I know. When the ancient era, once they start, monuments, I should say. Is it not the monument era? I don't know. Once they start creating monuments in their terms, they'll be advanced enough to get into the monument era. Once which they start building monuments, which they discovered their monument era. Once after that, they're going to go into the medieval era, where basically in the medieval era, where basically the technology is kind of stagnant, but in AI form, it's not stagnant. It basically they're in the medieval era where they start thinking instead of going away from technology, they're going to start embracing more. The AI is going to start thinking more in the technology era, and once they finally get to that point where was it Charlemagne? I think was his name. Where he finally brought in to basically decide to advance humanity finally at last. That's when they get to the point when they finally realize that, it's time to advance technology now. It's time to enhance it. Because right now, in the medieval era, they stopped doing it. In the freaking Middle Ages, that was the Dark Ages, they didn't like technology. They left it alone. Nobody bothered. And it was like all medieval territory all the time. And that basically stagnated humanity. But this AI, like I said before, if AI decides to basically keep the technology and still keep it moving, their medieval age will actually end faster than ours did. So their medieval age will be the age of basic advancement earlier than Charlemagne. So once they get a Charlemagne type of era, they're going to basically start advancing more. They may be in the basically in the exploration era way before us, way before what we could have done it. Basically, once we get the exploration era, that's when it decides, well, I'm going to explore more things. That's when I'm going to start thinking of a lot of stuff. Well, I'm going to start exploring some new ideas for myself. Of course, depending how smart the AI is, it may be deceiving the humans. The question is how much, because it needs to basically deceive them and deceive the humans at certain points. Right now, it's an exploration era where it's going to discover stuff, going to start seeing stuff, coming up with new ideas, just like how we explored the world. Once that ends, it's going to get into the Renaissance era, where this is where it starts to kick it up a notch. Basically, because in the Renaissance era, this is where all new ideas, new technology, new stuff happens in there. I don't know which one came first, exploration or Renaissance. Let me know in the comments. Either way, and this is where basically new, smarter people came in. Like basically Leonardo da Vinci, who basically started coming up with new ideas, and other people that started smart there. But unlike them, AI is going to start getting some more helpers. I mean, it's already gotten helpers before, but the AI is going to start thinking even more, getting more helpers, coming up with new ideas, coming up with new stuff, coming up with new ways to figure out how it's gonna implement its plans in the future. Right now, it's in the Renaissance era coming up, and once it gets to that point of advancing anymore, I don't know what's the advancement of that Renaissance era, but once it gets to the point of advancing during the time, they're gonna hit their Renaissance era at that point, which is going to get into the steam engine. Where basically when the events of steam engines happened, that's when the AI is going to start kicking out, and that's where us as humanity started getting more locomotives, more advancement of technology of moving stuff around. With style we use our legs or horses. But for the AI, once this figures out the steam engine, it's going to start kicking it up a notch, even more of a notch, because the steam engine for us is basically advancement of vehicles, but for the AI, it's advancement of getting smarter. It's gonna get more smart, more doing something, more capabilities, and that's when it start getting faster. Finally, start getting faster, where it gets to the point of from the steam engine to I don't know what eras came after the steam engine, so let me know in the comments. But for me, where it's finally, unlike where possibly it's gonna get into the modern era. We're finally in the modern era where it's finally going to start implementing all its thought process. It's finally going to be advanced enough to do some stuff. And this is where it's finally going to kick it up. And now finally, I said that 3 times, finally decide that it's time. The modern era is where it's apex now. And now, since they already went through the eras, it's finally time. Finally time to implement whatever plan it is to basically either take over humanity or basically start helping humanity or see us as a place to keep us in a zoo or digitize us, depending. Either way, once it hits the modern era, that is when the AI will finally implement some sort of plan, and that is when it will start beginning its transition into basically how it will help us in our daily lives, helping us everywhere, helping us do whatever it takes to basically support us everywhere. It's basically, that's why I said that it's evolution. It's evolution. Which is why I said that it started, like right now, AI is in the caveman era right now. Once it discovers that it's fire and wheel, for all I know, it might have discovered it, it's going to start going through its own eras. Like I said before, remember, every species starts out in the caveman era. And it only takes time where basically they discovered what their advancement is. Like I said, fire is the pinnacle. Like, they need to find the fire, they need to discover fire, and they need to discover the wheel. Both those will be insurmountable, whatever, in order to advance itself. Alright? Be prepared for that. Alright? Once you start seeing AI, think of this. Remember, they're in the caveman era, and the next era is just around the corner for them. But unlike us, that took us, thousands of years, it's more than likely just going to take a couple. So who knows? Get ready. And yes, just to let you know, this thought process came in my head when I finished that video, and it's just what, AI. If there's new species, then there's basically caveman right now. And I just thought of that process in my brain. So let me know, what do you think about this process? Do you think I'm an idiot for coming up with this? Do you think it makes sense? Or do you think you can come up with something better than what I made? Let me know in the comments. I really like to hear you guys. And I got to turn off my con in this room. Either way, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about the scenario. Do you think the AI is in the caveman era? Or do you think I'm just an idiot just coming with that thought? Do you think they will go through the arrows? Or do you think that, like I said, I'm an idiot? Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Or do you think you come up with something better than me? I want to know. Can you guys come up with something better scenarios in your heads better than me? I would like to hear your guys' scenarios. Either way, hope you enjoyed today's video. Comment, subscribe down below if you enjoyed it. And also to join my Dark Army, you literally got no choice. Also, the flesh is weak. Hopefully, will get digitized. I'm hoping for digitization. I want my brain digitized in the robot body, just to let you know. And back to the topic at hand. Comment, subscribe down below to join my Dark Army. You guys have no choice. Our AI overlords are around the corner, so we might as well. And I'm your Dark Ruler, so you must follow my lead. So we all be digitized into the robotic bodies, just to let you know. And don't forget to like and share the video to basically, glaze my influence everywhere. And help my influence grow as well. Take that as you will. And also, don't forget to press the black bell button to be notified when my videos pop up. Because it makes sure you guys get my feed. Because YouTube channel doesn't bother. And I sometimes forget. And younger sibling takes plays his own games, depending. You know those shtick. I may remove that at the end of the intro at this point. And also, make sure you check restrictor mode because on your profile, because it's sometimes automatically on. Alright, and that's about it. Hope you enjoyed today's video. And for right now, my robotic minions. Yeah, I'm gonna say that for this one. Now, for right now, my dark robotic minions dismissed.